it still has an eraser on it.
That's not an eraser.
Celebrates all the people who work so that all the people who don't get to live longer and have more than he does.
No hugs, no lessons, no learning.
That's a great idea. I've got a dog. Oh, Buck, look, strangers in the house, boy. Kill him, Buck. Go kill him.
Married with Children crashed into American living rooms in 1987 like a TV demolition crew.
This is Tiffany.
Al Bundy wasn't just a shoe salesman, he was the anti-sitcom dad.
So, how are you today?
Those trick questions won't work on me, Doc.
And his family, a glorious mess. But what happened behind the scenes? Let's pull back the curtain.
Oh, hi, honey. Look, Steve and Marcy are here.
Yeah, I know. I've been circling the block waiting for them to leave.
Here are 20 weird, wild, and completely unexpected facts you didn't know about Married with Children. 1. Christina Applegate survived on 5 almonds a day. Behind the laughs and eye rolls of Kelly Bundy was a serious and heartbreaking reality. During the early seasons of Married with Children, Christina Applegate was silently battling anorexia. In a 2024 podcast interview, she revealed that her eating habits became dangerously restrictive, sometimes limiting herself to as little as 5 almonds a day. On screen, she played the bubbly, carefree blonde, but behind the scenes, she was dealing with immense pressure and body image struggles that no one talked about back then. Her weight loss became noticeable, but in the era before body positivity movements and wellness support, it was largely brushed off.
You know, Daddy, that was a great idea last night, to only eat the cheese so we'd have the crust for today.
The wardrobe team reportedly had to constantly alter her costumes to fit her shrinking frame. Applegate later said she felt completely alone during that time. It's a powerful reminder that even in the funniest, most outrageous sitcoms, real-life pain can quietly exist just out of frame. 2. The Bundy couch nearly went to a landfill. It's one of the most recognizable couches in TV history. Ugly floral fabric, sagging cushions, and years of sweat from one bitter shoe salesman. The Bundy living room couch was practically a character itself in Married with Children. But after the show ended, Fox didn't exactly treat it like a sacred artifact. The couch went into storage, and over time, its location was lost. For years, rumors swirled that it had been tossed in the trash. Fans were devastated. Thankfully, it was eventually tracked down, faded but still intact, and placed in a memorabilia archive.
Aw, thanks, boy. Hey, I'm sorry I didn't bring you anything.
Today, it's occasionally displayed at pop culture exhibits and TV museums, where people line up just to sit on Al Bundy's throne. For a show that mocked American domestic life, it's oddly poetic that one of its most iconic symbols nearly ended up forgotten, like a no-ma'am member buried under unpaid credit card bills and Polk High trophies. 3. They used stolen footage from another movie. That iconic opening shot, cars zooming down the highway under a Chicago skyline, wasn't filmed for Married with Children. It was actually taken straight from the 1983 film National Lampoon's Vacation. And yes, that is the Griswold station wagon briefly driving through the frame. Fox was still brand new at the time and didn't have the budget for custom aerial footage, so they borrowed a few seconds of existing highway shots. It was supposed to be a quick fix for the pilot, but they kept it. For 11 seasons, the same clip ran in every single intro, becoming just as recognizable as Al's groan or Peggy's laugh. Most viewers never noticed, but for the few who did, it was an Easter egg hiding in plain sight. What started as a cheap placeholder ended up becoming a permanent part of one of the most iconic sitcom intros ever made. 4. A lost episode was banned for a decade. One episode of Married with Children was so controversial, Fox refused to air it. Titled "I'll See You in Court," it involved Al and Peggy accidentally being filmed during a motel hookup and discovering the tape later. Even by the show's standards, it was considered too explicit. The episode sat on a shelf for over a decade, becoming known among fans as the Lost episode. It finally aired in 2002 on cable, heavily censored and edited. Despite the delay, the episode became legendary, not because of the plot, but because it was the one time even Fox said, "Yeah, maybe that's a little too far," which, for the show, says a lot. 5. Ed ONeal got the part with a single sigh. Sometimes the perfect casting happens in a single moment. During his audition for Married with Children, Ed ONeal didn't even say a word at first. He walked up to the front door of the Bundy house, paused, let out a deep, defeated sigh, slouched his shoulders, and opened the door like a man who had lost every battle life ever threw at him. That was it. The producers saw that one motion and immediately knew. This guy was Al Bundy. No rehearsed lines, no over-the-top monologue. Just a sigh so honest and exhausted it told them everything they needed to know. ONeal embodied every worn-out dad who once had dreams.
Pumpkin, unlike marriage, phone sex is a victimless crime.
And now just wants to be left alone with the TV remote and a cold beer. Al Bundy was born in that single breath. 6. A national boycott made the show more popular. In 1989, a Michigan housewife named Terry Ricolta watched an episode of Married with Children and was outraged. She launched a nationwide campaign against the show, calling it indecent and immoral. Sponsors pulled their ads. News outlets covered the controversy. Fox braced for backlash. But instead of killing the show, the boycott made it explode. Ratings shot up as curious viewers tuned in just to see what was so offensive.
And soon my hellhounds will be out of the house and I'll be free. Except for her.
The writers leaned into the chaos, making the show even raunchier. Ricolta's crusade backfired completely. She tried to cancel the Bundys and ended up turning them into icons. It was one of the earliest examples of cancel culture, creating the very thing it tried to destroy. Al Bundy didn't just survive the outrage, he thrived in it. Beer in hand, remote in reach, flipping off the haters from his trusty brown couch. 7. Sam Kinison brought strippers to the set. Before Ed ONeal became the face of Al Bundy, comedian Sam Kinison was actually considered for the role. He eventually made a guest appearance in a later episode, but not without leaving his signature chaos behind. During his time on set, Kinison reportedly showed up with a group of strippers and had them serve lunch to the cast and crew. No one was surprised. Kinison was known for his wild, no-limits personality, both on and off stage. While he didn't land the lead role, his presence left a lasting impression and perfectly matched the show's unfiltered anything-goes attitude. It was just another day in the world of Married with Children, where political correctness died at the door. And apparently, lunch came with glitter and heels. 8. Peggy Bundy's pregnancy vanished overnight. During season 6, Katie Seagal, who played Peggy, was pregnant in real life. The writers decided to incorporate it into the show by making both Peggy and Marcy pregnant at the same time. But tragedy struck. Seagal suffered a stillbirth, and production came to a halt.
Peggy, this is so exciting. We can be pregnant together.
Oh.
Yeah, congratulations.
To avoid further emotional strain, the writers made a bold choice. They wrote the entire pregnancy off as a dream. In one episode, Al wakes up and realizes the events of the past few weeks never happened. It was a jarring twist, but a necessary one. For a show built on crude jokes and ridiculous plots, it was one of the few moments grounded in real-life heartbreak. Behind the wigs, insults, and sitcom chaos, the cast and crew were dealing with something painfully human, and they handled it the only way they could, by waking up and starting over. 9. The original Bundy kids were totally different. Before Married with Children ever hit the airwaves, Fox filmed an unaired pilot, and in it, Bud and Kelly were played by completely different actors. Tina Caspery was cast as Kelly, and Hunter Carson played Bud, but something felt off. The chemistry wasn't there, and the comedy didn't land. The network quickly pulled the plug on the original duo and brought in Christina Applegate and David Faustino just in time for the official premiere. It was a last-minute recast that changed everything. Applegate and Faustino didn't just play the Bundy kids, they became them. Their chemistry, timing, and total commitment to chaos helped define the show's identity. Looking back, it's hard to imagine anyone else in those roles. That original pilot has never been released publicly, but for die-hard fans, it's a strange alternate universe where Kelly and Bud just aren't quite Bundy enough. 10. The show was canceled, and no one told the cast. After 11 seasons, you'd expect a big farewell, some champagne, maybe even a press release. But when Fox canceled Married with Children in 1997, they didn't bother telling the people who made the show. Christina Applegate found out from a fan during an event.
Breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Let us give thanks.
Ed ONeal discovered the news by reading the newspaper. There was no goodbye party, no wrap-up meeting, just silence. For a show that helped build Fox from the ground up, it was a brutally cold send-off. ONeal later said it didn't surprise him, calling it a business decision. Still, after more than a decade of outrageous storylines, iconic insults, and groundbreaking TV moments, the cast deserved better than a ghosting. But maybe it was fitting Married with Children never played by the rules, and in the end, the network broke them too. 11. Amanda Bearse broke barriers behind the scenes. Amanda Bearse, who played the tightly wound, endlessly frustrated Marcy, wasn't just stealing scenes. She was making history. During the run of Married with Children, Bearse quietly became one of the first openly gay actresses in mainstream television. At a time when coming out in Hollywood could kill your career, she took the risk and didn't look back. But she didn't stop there. Bearse also stepped behind the camera, directing over 30 episodes of the show. She became a leader in the industry, both on set and off, helping pave the way for other LGBTQ+ actors and creatives in television.
We thought it was kind of cute, but he won't wear the hat.
While Marcy was often the butt of Al's relentless jokes, Bearse was building something bigger, a legacy of visibility, courage, and creative control in a show that, ironically, gave her none of those things on screen. Her impact reached far beyond the Bundy living room. 12. Fox didn't exist until this show aired. When Married with Children premiered in April 1987, Fox wasn't even considered a real network yet. It had no established lineup, no audience loyalty, and barely any brand recognition. This crude little sitcom about a miserable shoe salesman and his dysfunctional family became one of its very first primetime shows. It aired alongside The Tracy Ullman Show. Yes, the one that introduced The Simpsons. Together, these two shows laid the foundation for what Fox would become: edgy, loud, and completely unlike the polished family sitcoms on ABC and NBC. Married with Children didn't just find an audience, it built one. Without the Bundys, there might never have been a Fox as we know it today. It wasn't just a hit show, it was the moment Fox stopped being a punchline and started becoming a television powerhouse. All thanks to a family that couldn't be less qualified to hold that title. 13. The animated reboot was supposed to happen, but got canceled in 2025. Back in 2022, fans were buzzing about a planned animated reboot of Married with Children. The original cast, Ed ONeal, Katie Sagal, Christina Applegate, and David Faustino, had all signed on to voice their characters. It was pitched as a way to revive the Bundys in a new, unfiltered format, where the comedy could go even further. But after years of silence, the answer finally came in 2025. The project was officially dead. According to multiple reports, the animated revival was quietly shelved by Sony, with no plans to move forward. No pilot, no trailer, nothing. Just another abandoned reboot in a long list of TV what-ifs. While the original remains a cult classic, the animated Bundys never made it past the pitch stage. It could have been chaos. It could have been genius. Instead, it's just a canceled cartoon we'll never get to see. 14. Al Bundy's football glory is partly real. Al Bundy never shut up about scoring 4 touchdowns in one game for Polk High, and that wasn't just a random line. It was actually inspired by Ed ONeal's real-life football background. Before acting, ONeal played college football at Ohio University and later transferred to Youngstown State. He was good enough to be signed by the Pittsburgh Steelers as an undrafted free agent in 1969. But before he could play a regular season game, he was cut during training camp. That short-lived NFL dream stuck with him. And when he landed the role of Al Bundy, the writers weaved his backstory into the character. ONeal brought that same washed-up athlete with a chip on his shoulder energy to every episode. Al wasn't just angry at life. He was mourning the dream that slipped through his fingers. And that made him oddly relatable. Because every Bundy has a Polk High moment they never let go. 15. A U.S. senator tried to get it off the air. Married with Children stirred up so much controversy in the late 80s and early 90s that even the U.S. Senate got involved. Conservative Senator Jesse Helms famously called the show garbage, and Connecticut Senator Joe Lieberman slammed it after his daughter accidentally watched an episode he deemed too explicit. The show's crude humor, raunchy jokes, and total lack of morals made it an easy target for politicians looking to score points by bashing Hollywood. But instead of hurting the show, the outrage only boosted its reputation. Fox leaned into the backlash, using it as proof that the show was pushing boundaries no one else dared to touch. Married with Children didn't just survive the hate, it thrived on it. Every insult from Washington felt like a free ad. Al Bundy wasn't just annoying his neighbors, he was ticking off the U.S. government, one sarcastic grunt at a time. 16. Christina Applegate improvised the dumb blonde persona. When Christina Applegate first took on the role of Kelly Bundy, the character wasn't fully developed. In early scripts, Kelly was just a generic teenage daughter, no big personality, no standout traits. But Applegate had other ideas. She began adding exaggerated pauses, confused facial expressions, and totally off-the-wall line deliveries. The writers noticed and loved it. Soon they started writing Kelly as the iconic dumb blonde, giving her outrageous misunderstandings and hilariously shallow logic in every episode. Applegate turned what could have been a forgettable side character into one of the funniest parts of the show. Her comic timing was so good, audiences couldn't tell where the script ended and her improv began.
He's a little stringy, but seasoned correctly. Bud chops.
Kelly wasn't just a stereotype. She was a masterclass in sitcom timing, delivered with teased hair, high heels, and a permanently puzzled look. All thanks to Applegate's instincts and a whole lot of comedic courage. 17. Bud Bundy tried to launch a rap career. In the mid-90s, while still starring as Bud Bundy, David Faustino decided to branch out in the most unexpected way possible. He created a rap alter ego named D-Lil and dropped an actual hip-hop album called Ballistics in 1992. The name came from a Hollywood nightclub he co-founded that became a hotspot for young celebrities and underground artists. The album featured explicit lyrics, a few guest appearances, and a whole lot of early 90s attitude. But despite Faustino's effort to reinvent himself, the project flopped commercially and faded into obscurity. Today, it's a bizarre footnote in sitcom history, proof that even Bud Bundy wasn't immune to the music industry's temptations.
Curious about who's sending all this stuff? I mean, some mystery guy sees Kelly on a commercial and starts lavishing us all with presents.
While he didn't become the next Vanilla Ice, the attempt only made fans love him more. Because honestly, if anyone from Married with Children was going to drop a rap album, it was always going to be Bud. 18. The show has been remade all over the world. Married with Children wasn't just a hit in the US, it became a global phenomenon. The show's format was so flexible and outrageous that dozens of countries created their own versions. In Argentina, it became Casados con Hijos, a massive hit that still airs reruns today. Germany had Hilfe, Meine Familie Spinnt. Brazil had Aguero dos Pintos, and Russia, Turkey, and even Colombia created localized remakes. Some versions copied the American script word for word, while others adapted the characters to fit local culture. But no matter the language, the formula stayed the same. A cranky dad, a lazy wife, 2 troublemaking kids, and 0 life lessons. It turns out, dysfunctional families, sarcastic humor, and marital misery are universal. Al Bundy may have been born in Chicago, but his grumpy spirit lives on across the globe, from Buenos Aires to Berlin. The Bundys went international, and somehow, they still didn't get an Emmy. 19. No Emmys. Not a single one. Despite running for 11 seasons, drawing millions of viewers, and redefining what a sitcom could be, Married with Children never won, or was even nominated for, an Emmy. Critics dismissed it as crude, lowbrow, and offensive, overlooking the show's clever writing, groundbreaking tone, and massive cultural impact. While other sitcoms racked up awards with heartfelt lessons and tidy endings, the Bundys were too busy insulting each other and flushing morality down the toilet. But fans didn't care. The show built a legacy that outlasted its critics. No gold statues? No problem. Al Bundy didn't need an Emmy. He had a couch, a remote, and 4 touchdowns in one game. 20. There's a Married with Children board game. Yes, they actually made one. Along with comics, action figures, and trading cards, the show even got its own board game in the early 90s. It featured trivia questions, ridiculous challenges, and Bundy-themed humor. It didn't sell much, but today it's a rare collector's item because nothing says family bonding like fighting over who's the biggest disappointment at the dinner table. That's Married with Children. Unfiltered, unforgettable, and totally off the rails. If you learned something new, hit like, subscribe, and drop your favorite Bundy quote in the comments. Now, excuse me, I've got a couch to collapse on.